Stephen A. Smith did not hold back under any circumstances when it came to exposing Sheryl Swoopes' extremely jealous perspective on Caitlin Clark. There is no denying the Caitlin Clark effect that has occurred. Within the realm of women's basketball, Caitlin Clark has had a phenomenal amount of success. The game has been completely transformed by her, both from a business perspective and due to the talent she possesses on the court. It is not an exaggeration to say that as soon as she sets foot on the court, there is a good chance that she will break yet another record that has been set throughout the course of history. Is it hatred? To be sure, it is a natural consequence of greatness. The accomplishments that Caitlin has already achieved have caused people to feel envious and jealous. It is, however, quite surprising to see other WNBA legends and veterans hate on Caitlin, because in general, those who hate have not accomplished much in their lives. This is the reason why it is so surprising. You are going to understand why Sheryl Swoopes is the most vehement opponent of Caitlin Clark by the time you reach the conclusion of this video. In addition to her on-court talent, Caitlin Clark has transformed women's basketball from a business perspective. Every time she steps on the court, she may break another record, but greatness breeds hatred. Clark's accomplishments are envied. Some WNBA legends and veterans envy, which is surprising. By the end of this video, you'll see why Sheryl Swoopes may hate Caitlin Clark the most. Swoopes initially criticized Clark in college, making valid points. "You trying to come take my job?" Swoopes said, believing Angel Reese's game would translate better to the WNBA than Clark's. It won't be that easy. Swoopes did not think Clark could immediately replicate her college success in the WNBA. She also suggested Clark needed more time to match Kelsey Plum's scoring record because Clark's NCAA points record was based on volume rather than quality. Swoopes apologized for his naivety, but tension remained. Clark has broken records and expectations since those comments. She has the single game assist record, the most consecutive point assist double-doubles in a rookie season, and the most guard double-doubles. First rookie to record triple-double and single-game leader in three-point field goals. She is also the youngest player to have back-to-back point-assist double-doubles, only her WNBA records. Clark has set 7 Indiana Fever records in her first season, cementing her legacy as a franchise great. Despite this, Swoopes appears to be targeting Clark, and people are taking notice. Stephen A. Smith recently criticized Swoopes for her poor analysis of Clark and the Fever's rise. Clark and the Fever lead the WNBA in average game attendance and TV viewership, demonstrating her impact on and off the court. Despite these high attendance and viewership numbers, the league seems to hate Swoopes. Stephen A. Smith noted Swoopes' bias against Clark and not giving Clark credit for Indiana's success. Swoopes didn't mention the rookie when discussing Indiana's sudden surge. Swoopes showed her petty side by crediting Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston, who have been great since the team returned from the Olympics, but ignoring Clark's historic achievements. Hull, Mitchell, and Boston will help Indiana climb the standings, Swoopes believes. She even mentioned Lexi Hull's shooting against Seattle, Kelsey Mitchell's scoring, and Aaliyah Boston's near triple-double. Despite her record-setting performances, Caitlin Clark, the Fever's star point guard, was not mentioned. One of the greatest basketball players, Sheryl Swoopes, recently made headlines for saying, "Shout out to Angel Reese. Even in a loss, 20 boards is crazy. She's getting 20 rebounds, regardless of how you describe it. I don't mind if you rebound." This praise for Reese, despite the loss, seemed petty given Swoopes' incredible basketball career. Swoopes is a legend after winning a college championship at Texas Tech, 3 Olympic gold medals, and 4 WNBA titles. Few people know basketball like she does. For younger fans, Swoopes is more known for her crazy takes than her basketball skills. Simple, Swoopes doesn't like Caitlin Clark. Swoopes previously criticized the 22-year-old, saying Clark has better players at the Fever than Angel Reese at the Chicago Sky. Swoopes' dismissal of Clark, a once-in-a-generation player, is becoming increasingly comical as the pair appears to be vying for Rookie of the Year. To clarify, criticizing a player is fine. Clark would admit she's not perfect. She famously started her WNBA career with a bad record, scoring 20 points in her debut game, but struggling with efficiency. Swoopes' repeated, seemingly personal attacks on Clark are tarnishing her legacy. Respectfully, Sheryl Swoopes, do you know how this makes you look? Do you see how this undermines any legitimate Caitlin Clark critique? Because Swoopes is so successful in sports, his comments are striking. However, her repeated criticism of Clark, who has become one of the WNBA's most talked about players, suggests more than professional analysis. It's one thing to criticize a player's game, it's another to dismiss their achievements, especially when they're changing women's basketball. The WNBA has benefited greatly from Caitlin Clark. Her flaws and early struggles aside, she has shown that she can be a great player. Swoopes is entitled to her opinions, but her tone has left many wondering why she's so reluctant to credit Clark. Caitlin Clark's WNBA debut was eventful. She scored 20 points, but committed 10 turnovers in her WNBA debut, a record. Indiana Fever losses piled up quickly, but a tough schedule contributed to the slow start. As a future legend, shouldn't you be great right away? Learning curves contribute to early struggles. For a year, every WNBA player had heard about this generational talent coming in and taking over. No one wanted to be the team that allowed it. Clark had little time between her last college game and her first WNBA game, adding to the pressure. Clark took on more responsibility from the start than most rookies, who sit on the bench and adjust to WNBA standards. For a critique to be credible, it must give credit. Sheryl Swoopes, you probably know basketball best. You couldn't have accidentally left Caitlin Clark out of your Indiana Fever speech. Stop, you know better. After the Olympics, the Fever defeated the Phoenix Mercury and Seattle Storm in 2 straight games. Due to the skill of the Indiana Fever and Seattle Storm players and the attention on Caitlin Clark's potential WNBA record break, the game was thrilling. Clark needed 2 assists to break a 26-year-old WNBA rookie record. She finished second to Ticha Penicheiro's 1998 Sacramento Monarchs rookie record of 224 assists in 30 games. No surprise, Clark broke the record before halftime in 28 games. Clark dominated her first game back against Diana Taurasi and the Phoenix Mercury. We may look back at that game and say, yeah, that's when Caitlin really found her groove in the league. Clark scored 16 points on 55.6% shooting, including 3 triples with 5 assists and 4 rebounds in the first half against the Mercury. Despite early setbacks, Clark has shown resilience and adaptability. She's broken records and silenced critics, proving her WNBA debut hype was justified. Caitlin Clark is rising to the top as she finds her groove. Caitlin Clark dominates the WNBA, making history every game. Clark became the first WNBA rookie to score at least 450 points and 200 assists, a feat only 5 other players have accomplished. However, Sheryl Swoopes conveniently forgot about this. We haven't mentioned Caitlin's rising fame. She's elevating the women's game on the court, not just breaking records. Clark draws attention as the Fever's game against the Minnesota Lynx drew 1.29 million viewers on ION. Since the WNBA season began, some media and former players have tried to discredit Clark. Swoopes' recent comments fuel the fire, confirming that Caitlin Clark is hated. Caitlin seems to have become accustomed to the hatred. She has been hit by opponents with dirty shots that should have resulted in them being ejected from the fight. In addition to that, they engaged in physical defense against her, which is something that would not be tolerated against any other player, but was permitted against Caitlin. Clark's contribution to the success of Swoopes' teammates is denied by Swoopes. Clearly, there is bias. On the other hand, Caitlin does not receive credit for the improvement in their team's play level and efficiency that she has brought about. Many people believe that Caitlin Clark is present, but I do not. The contributions that she has made to women's basketball, particularly in this country, are truly remarkable, and I believe that she will continue to improve. To achieve superstardom, it is not enough to simply win games. You must also increase the number of views you receive. Clark far surpassed any and all expectations. She is altering the manner in which the organization conducts its business and rewriting the history of the court. A rising tide lifts all boats, as the proverb goes, and Clark is demonstrating that she is willing to do anything in order to ensure that everyone is fed. If you are a player in the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, Caitlin Clark will pay you if you befriend her. It would be strange to find someone who does not support Caitlin at this point. In the near future, people will know Sheryl Swoopes more as a person who despises Caitlin Clark than as someone who is a Hall of Famer. This is because she is exposing herself with each outrageous take. What she will do is blame herself. Clark is still improving, and it's clear that she's playing for the future of women's basketball. How do you view Sheryl Swoopes' criticism and Caitlin Clark's league impact? Comment, like, and subscribe below. See you next episode!